And everybody, oh, we're not going to make it Roxana, blah, 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 blah. But they got together again, and it ended up being, he was such a big pusher for this, naming it after his wife, they decided to call it Roxana.
So is that considered a village or a township?
It's a township.
It's a township.
So the guy that was given the job to take it to Lansing to register the name went up there, and he said that he just couldn't name it Roxana because of her scandal. The scandal of her not being married and the adultery. He was such a religious person that when he wrote the name out, the very last thing, instead of an A, he did a D.
So it's Roxanne
And
instead
for
of
the
Roxana.
longest time, even the maps had Roxana on it.
Oh.
But it wasn't until they got out the actual written thing that it was done, it's Roxanne, and they had to change that. And he didn't, he kept that secret for the longest time until he was with a bunch of men that he knew working in the fields, and he finally said he had a confession to make that he just couldn't name it after that woman. He just couldn't name it after that woman. Name it after that horrible woman. And it was actually Roxanne. And they all stood in a circle and they prayed for this, prayed for the brother for what he did.
Oh my goodness!
I said, this is a great story. And so I followed her line, and her and her husband ended up getting separated. And
what was their maiden name?
Cottings.
Cottings.
The Cottings.
Okay.
And
I wonder what her maiden name was.
Who?
Roxanne.
Roxanne was Cottings.
Oh, she was a Cotting.
She was a Cotting. She married a Crowder.
And married a Crowder.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so her mother was Anseneth Cottings, who was what was it? The sister of William Cottings.
Okay.
And, it was just the Cottings.
That's a great story.
And, it's a great story.
Yeah,
it's a great story.
Now I haven't come across the Cottings and the Boyers, so because that would probably another sibling line.
Henry Boyer's oldest Henry H. Boyer and Margaret Hawes' oldest daughter married William Cottings.
Okay,
so that's where that comes.
And then we have the Henry H. who married the Margaret Lepper.
Yeah.
And
no, that's Leonard H.
Leonard H. and Margaret Lepper.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that we have a new cousin that we're working on to determine if she's Boyer and Lepper so far.
Yeah,
so we're trying to figure out that story and see where she connects.
He's a Boyer and a Durham and a Newman. So so far.
And the Hymn Street, going back, there's Hymn Street on the Boyer line.
That goes way back.
Also,
but that's a good Dutch name. So.
That's a Dutch name, yeah. And then we talked about, and you say Marsalis, the Missals and the Marsalis.
Yeah.
And those are women. Married Boyers.
Yeah. Only one that we know of.
Only the one, and that's a long line and connects.
Yeah. I found her mother's name is Anna, and she has probably 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, but the father had deserted the family. So I believe the mother...
You're talking about the A.H.?
Yeah, the Asheris, whatever his name is. I'm sure the mother remarried, and so...
and she could have more children, too.
She might have had more children, so she's gotten lost in obscurity, by remarrying, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because she maybe used her maiden name, or, and then he was a Tory, so she might have just changed
Now,
her
the
name.
Tory, just like when you mentioned that earlier, it's like, oh my gosh, we got Tories in the family.
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Oh.
But that's on the Marsalis only, right? Just for him. Okay, because that's my first of a Tory. Because other than that, we're all patriots.
He was a comrade to the Castleman.
And somebody married a Castleman, too, that's in our line.
He's the one, Kassel. He was the one that murdered several people during that Orinsky War battle.
Of New York?
Yeah, with the British. Because he was promised their property, and he thought that if he killed them, then he would have access to their property. Once they took care. And so he was in cahoots with him. And I found Asarara's brother and this Castleman and him all living in the same, within just a few doors of each other in Canada.
And so they went off.
Ludenberg, something like that. Ludenberg, Canada.
So he went off to Canada then when we won that.
And remarried and had more kids. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah, he married somebody.
And we
there.
haven't determined if that Marcellus is Spanish or Dutch or...
I think it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, because he came with all the Dutch.
Yeah.
So I think the Marcellus, it was, they were there for 100 years, the Spanish, so I'm sure they intermarried.
Sure.
The common soldiers would intermarry. I mean, they wouldn't say celibate.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So once they got sent over there, they would end up marrying the local girls, and so I'm sure they just, so the Marcellus line, though, I found some stories about the Marcellus. The original, he was stealing wood, and they went to war.
Goodness.
Yeah, stealing wood, and somebody.
Now, is that down here, or are you talking about up in New York?
New York.
In New York.
Well, that'd be around Albany. Yeah, I think it was about Albany, Schenectady when they first came. Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was little scandals. There's little scandals everywhere.
I know. I love those family scandals. And when I was doing the Parley Worden research, I actually found Connecticut connection in the New York and Vermont. Is there something in Vermont too?
So anyway, I'm getting close, so I gotta.
Okay. Let you concentrate.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know if this is Needmore or if it's.
I don't know. See if I can see. It looks like it is Needmore.
Yeah. I thought.
And we're turning right.
The reason I say
Needmore
that is
Highway.
Because this land right here is the cotting land.
Oh, really?
They lived
on the left side.
On the left. All this right
this
here
is
was
cotting.
This was William. And the Kramers. The Kramers lived here.
Cotters
the
and
Cottings.
Kramers.
These are all Boyer.
Okay, they all married Boyers.
Married, yeah. They were women that women Boyers.
More on this left side.
On the left side. Now we're gonna be on the right. We're gonna go past a Parker Road just up here, and the Parker Road is where my great grandfather lived. Winfield Scott Boyer.
Okay. That's your great grandfather?
Yeah, that's my great grandfather's Winfield Scott Boyer.
Okay.
And he lived up there with his parents. That's where they lived.
Oh, okay.
And so they were all in this, living in the same area. And so when they moved, they didn't move very far. They just hopped over the road.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they eventually moved from there over into a rock sand, which is this is the border. This is the border. This is like rock-sand over here and
Roxanne on the left and Chester on the right.
Yeah,
because Chester is the first.
The Laux name is a Boyer named Sarah Boyer, married to Jacob Laux.
Right.
And this is
and that's Laux Road.
Yeah. The units of this area, these people are very, very close. Now, I've been working on that silly Moyer Cemetery book for ages. And the interconnections are just absolutely amazing.
Well, they only had each other to marry.
This was a small community of people who were very close.
Yeah. And all came from New York.
And they were so far from Charlotte that they just made their own community.
Sure.
Now,
there's Parker Road sign.
Okay.
I saw that. So it must be coming up. And so Parker Road is right here on the left.
Right here.
And
Now it's not too, it's like right in this area.
Over here on the right. This would be Worden and Boyer.
This is a pretty good pull-off spot. I'm going to pull off here.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you the maps.
Okay.
Now there's a little river.
I'm going to keep recording here.
Okay. This is Chester. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, right here. He was in the 4th section. Remember that?
Right.
The 4th section.
Yes.
And they were from like here until the little creek. And this is the Thornapple River.
Okay.
And this is a little creek that goes through. So somewhere's up here. Here's Parker Road. See the Parker Road?
Yes.
They're right here. This is it.
This is it at this
This is right here. And it goes down to about here. And then somebody else owned that property. So this was mile sections.
And that
so they own about almost a mile.
Okay.
So through here. And then, of course, it was like this. So, and they were long. They were long sections. Now, I brought my thing.
And so this cornfield.
Yeah, you bet.
And is there any there's still a few Boyers still here?
Oh, yeah, there's still a few.
Yeah.
It's, we don't have as many.
As many as it
No.
was.
Mm-mm.
I see the high.
No, this is Roxanne.
Yeah.
Too far. Yeah, because there's...
Now, were you raised in Eaton County?
No. I was raised in Washtenaw, but we moved back here. My parents were both raised in Eaton County.
Okay.
Chester. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is right here is where you can barely see it.
Okay.
But it says Worden. P. Worden.
Let me get that. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that map.
Yes. And this says Boyer. And I think this is M. So I think that's Margaret.
Now, is that the section 4?
Yes, this is section 4. So you can barely see the 4 right here.
Can you see the 4? Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you get a good one on that.
There we go. Because I've never found a deed for Parley.
Okay. Oh, I've seen it. And
Have you seen it?
And then right here is where Henry Joram lived with Catherine. Okay, so it goes here to here, and so once we pass the little creek, which is up here, that's the end of the property.
Okay.
So.
And that's the original.
This is
they all had in that 1837 getting their land.
This is right here. Prentice owned it first. See, I've got Prentice owned
Yes.
that, and then in 37 he sells to William Cummings, and Leonard Boyer buys it from William Cummings. Okay, and that's 41, but he was actually on the property in 37.
Okay.
Cummings, the Cummings sign, that's Cottings Cummings.
Cottings
Cummings on this side of the road, and like that. And Williams he'd bought quite a bit of property, and he even owned property in Clinton. So, so this is the 1860 census. Census plat map, excuse me, not census.
And we've got some original
and
plat
then
maps.
see by 73 it is owned by McCarger, Eastman, and Beekman.
That same original.
Yeah, and I've seen the stuff for that.
Hold on.
This is